October 12, 2024, around 9 p.m., Bandra East, Mumbai. The streets pulsed with life as the procession of goddess Durga meandered through its narrow lanes. The dancing crowd set off a relentless crackle of fireworks echoing in the sky. In an adjacent lane inside his son's office, Congress-turned-NCP leader Baba Siddiqui was discussing a new building project. 30 minutes later, Siddiqui stepped out into the bustling night, accompanied by his driver and the one constable guarding him, and began walking towards his car, parked strategically 200 meters away. An old habit, because as he covered that distance, it would give him an opportunity to meet and greet with workers and stay visible among his supporters. But in the cover of chaos of that festive street, 3 youths sat huddled in a parked auto rickshaw, waiting, their faces wrapped in handkerchiefs and tightly clutching something heavy in their bags. The bursting crackers, the festive crowd and the single constable guard all seemed a perfect opportunity, and they walked out. Just as Siddiqui reached his car and was about to open its door, the 3 strangers who had by now reached within a few feet of him got into action. One took out a can of pepper spray, perhaps to disorient Siddiqui. At exactly the same time, panic overtook his colleague, who suddenly whipped out a 9mm Turkish pistol and haphazardly fired 6 rounds at Siddiqui. 4 bullets missed him, 3 hitting his car and 1 a bystander's leg. But 2 were bang on target, piercing Baba's chest. The popular politician fell to the ground, muttering, "Bullets hit me, I won't survive, I will die." The constable, specifically there to protect him, was left stunned in the ensuing melee. But before he could take any action, the first stranger with the can doused pepper spray into his eyes, leaving him groaning in agony. Then, using the cover of fireworks that blended seamlessly with the gunfire, the 3 shooters dashed away through the crowd, who remained unaware of the events, lost in their festive revelry. While the driver began attending to the wounded Siddiqui, the disoriented constable gathered his wits enough to inform nearby police stations on wireless. "Control room, 3 हमलेवार, मध्यम ऊंचाई, अभी बाबा सिद्दीकी को गोली मारी." Within minutes, 10 policemen from nearby stations rushed to the crime scene. However, by this time, the criminals had changed their shirts and ran quite some distance. One of the shooters, after changing his shirt, was so sadistic that he was going back to see Siddiqui's body. Though strangely enough, he ran into the police, who asked him for help.
3 शूटर को यहाँ से भागते हुए देखा क्या?
शूटर नहीं तो. But another person did help.
कोई मोबाइल चोर को चिल्ड्रंस पार्क की ओर भागते हुए देखा, उस तरफ.
In the dark shadows of the park, the cops saw one shooter trying to climb a barbed wire boundary wall and instantly nabbed him.
भागता कहाँ है साला?
Another one hiding in the bushes, a scared youngster, tossed his gun aside and came out to surrender. The police seized their guns and recovered another pistol and 2 Aadhaar cards bearing the same picture but with a different name from a black bag near the crime scene. But the 3rd shooter, the one who mingled in the crowd, was so cold-blooded that he actually reached Lilavati Hospital where Baba was taken to see whether their mission was accomplished, which TV channels confirmed later the same night. First, the Salman Khan firing, and now this, reminded Mumbaikars of the gang wars of the 80s and 90s, which occurred with similar regularity. Their dominance threatened, and considering the profile of the victim, the Mumbai police and crime branch formed 15 teams, furiously interrogating the 2 nab shooters who revealed where they had come from outside Mumbai. Haryana! UP! Also unmasking the 3rd absconding shooter, a resident of UP, who often put wannabe aspiring gangster posts on Instagram.
यार तेरा गैंगस्टर है जानी, शरीफ तो बाप है, हम नहीं.
But next morning, in a viral social media post, one Shubham, aka Shubhu Lonkar, owned up explicitly.
जो भी सलमान और दाऊद से रिश्ता रखेगा, हम उसको खत्म करेंगे.
Pointing to Siddiqui's extremely good family-like relations with Bollywood's bhai. And who is obviously against Salman right now? Of course, the notorious Lawrence Bishnoi gang. After a warning-like drive-by firing on Salman's Galaxy apartment in April this year, this killing of Siddiqui seemed like an even more brutal message. A bit to stamp their gangster authority over Mumbai and also revenge for the suicide of their shooter in police custody in the Salman firing case. Wait a minute. Unlike the Salman case, where Lawrence's cousin Anmol Bishnoi directly took responsibility, This time, it was some pawn who did the honors, while the Bishnoi top rung remained silent. Change of modus operandi? What's cooking? So was it really Bishnoi or someone else? How was the attack planned? Who was Siddiqui and why does he matter? 1964. Like so many, 5-year-old Ziauddin Baba Siddiqui and his family came from Patna to Mumbai. Early in his life, during his college days, Siddiqui got actively involved in Congress's student wing, NSUI. From the beginning, he was considered Dildar or kind-hearted, distributing rations in the community during the fasting month of Ramadan. However, it was only after Congress MP Sunil Dutt got impressed by his community work in the 1980s and took him under his wing that he connected with the creme de la creme of Mumbai's top Congress leaders. He literally ruled the trendy suburb of Bandra, first as a BMC corporator, then as a 3-time consecutive Bandra West MLA. But his financial fortunes changed after he became chairman of MHADA, Maharashtra's Housing Development Authority, becoming tight with the now jailed Vadhavans of HDIL, helping them get many slum rehab projects in what many consider a quid pro quo. It is rumored that Baba kept an eagle's eye on all real estate projects in his Bandra constituency and nothing could be built without his knowledge. The most important occupancy certificate, they say, was impossible to get without his nod. A few years earlier, Baba even launched his own real estate firm, which skyrocketed to a 15,000 crore, $2 billion valuation. The Dildar was known for throwing lavish iftar parties that would have many Bollywood A-listers in attendance, adding to his mass popularity. Do you remember the 5-year Cold War between Shah Rukh and Salman in the last decade? It was at one such party where Siddiqui's special convincing powers made the Karan Arjun brothers hug it out and end their bitterness. Then reciprocating Sunil Dutt's love to him, he remained a pillar of support for his son Sanju all through his legal hassles under the Arms Act, and stood by Salman as well after his alleged hit-and-run case, as Siddiqui reportedly was the first one to shelter him and help him legally. So could perhaps Siddiqui's history of Bollywood and Bhai Bonhomie make him a soft target for Bishnoi? Let's see. As Mumbai police began to look for Shubham Lonkar in their criminal records, the man behind the social media post, they were ecstatic to find that he was in jail since January for illegal possession of firearms and involvement in the Salman firing case. But kid you not, the mood turned somber after they got to know that he was released on bail in September and vanished after that. Yet the tenacious police kept tracing his Facebook account and with meticulous sleuthing unearthed its true operator, Praveen Lonkar, Shubham's brother, who was immediately arrested and spilled secrets of the plot that had been planned in a scrapyard in Pune in June, where Praveen instructed the 3 amateur shooters 50,000 kharcha pani har ek ke liye aur 60,000 bike kharidne ka, and showed them Baba Siddiqui and his son Zishan's pics. कोशिश करो दोनों को मारने की, लेकिन एक तो टपकना ही चाहिए. Further warning them, न तो कोई SMS, न WhatsApp, समझे ना? Because every word spoken on Instagram, every instruction on Snapchat can be made to vanish after a one-time reading, making it impossible to trace. From Pune, the shooters then came to live in a cramped flat in Mumbai's eastern suburb of Kurla. For days, on a recently bought second-hand bike, the trio prowled through Siddiqui's known spots, studying his every move. More players slipped into the scene, this time from Udaipur, bringing in real weapons, 3 pistols and 65 bullets. These were not trained shooters, and the wannabes watched YouTube tutorials to practice shooting with empty magazines. Perhaps that's why the novice shooter got nervous and didn't fire according to plan, missing 4 shots at point-blank range. They had tried to shoot Siddiqui over 10 times before, but were each time thwarted, either by an army of supporters or he just didn't arrive at the scene. 11th time lucky, they were helped by the noise of festivities and lack of people around the politician turned builder. Interrogation and intel allowed the police to arrest the Jaipur gun runners from their Navi Mumbai hideout, which unraveled even more dark secrets. That they were part of a local Nitin Sapre's Dombivli gang who were first given this mission but backed out. इतना बड़ा आदमी है सिद्दीकी, डेंजर काम है बॉस, हमसे नहीं होगा. The arrest of the third shooter from UP's Bahraich near the Nepal border in the midst of communal tensions revealed the identity of the mastermind, a criminal from Punjab, Zishan Akhtar. who likely got the supari from one of Bishnoi's men while in Patiala Central Jail.
एक वड्डा मिशन है, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟਪਕਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ.
Though again, the system's laxity towards bail meant that he too, like Lonkar, fled after being released from jail around the same time in June 2024 and still remains absconding, almost like a shadow in the night. But are all these red herrings? Could real estate rivalry be the reason for Siddiqui's murder? Because earlier this year, Siddiqui and his son Zishan had been protesting against 2 slum redevelopment projects in the heart of posh BKC. Siddiqui reportedly distributed a pamphlet which asked people not to sign the agreement with a particular developer. So could it be that it was a real estate rival group that gave the contract to Lawrence Bishnoi's gang to execute and it had nothing to do with Salman? Now that Anmol Bishnoi is arrested in Sacramento, USA, will we get to know the real truth behind it all? Bisbo's limerick. The gangsters have laid down rules to comply. Being a friend of Salman can mean goodbye. But was he an excuse and only a ruse for a new mafia to mark their stamp on Mumbai? You will also find these sources listed in our video description section.